time that we spend in nature is one of the most important times that we could spend throughout the day, since it's basically when we are most alone with our thoughts. It's when we concentrate the most on our own actions and we understand kind of how our mind works. This is the time when we realize just how important every action that we make is and the consequences that it can bring onto our lives. And so I believe that the time that we spend in nature can also genuinely be a time of meditation and a time of peace. And that's basically what it is for a lot of people. I've been very much into hiking and going on these long treks on the mountains, since it's very, very meaningful time that you could be spending. I mean, you're all alone in the mountains, or maybe you're with friends, which could be, or you're with some other people, that you genuinely enjoy being around. And those times, I think they're very valuable for a lot of us, and they're just times spent in peace and silence, in engaging in meaningful conversations with our friends, with people that we genuinely enjoy being around. For a long time, I didn't enjoy those things because, I used to play video games and be on social media a bunch, and I had a very horrible attention span, and my focus was shifted in all these kinds of different positions. And so I didn't enjoy being on the mountains. I didn't enjoy taking walks in nature, in the forest behind me. I didn't enjoy those things since they didn't bring me that much pleasure as would of watching a movie or playing on the computer. And, in the past year, since I've gone on self-improvement, and I've really started, to just think about my past actions, think about my ideas, think about my way of life, the way that I should be spending my time. I came to the conclusion that the time that I spent in nature, that I spend in nature, that I will be spending in nature will be one of the most important times of my life. Since it's time that I very much and I wholeheartedly enjoy, because it's very silent, it's very peaceful and leaves you alone with your thoughts again. I brought this point up because it's so valuable. People don't understand how valuable it is to just be alone with your thoughts. I mean, you could be in your house, for example, you could be genuinely just in your own room alone with your thoughts, and maybe that could work as well. But honestly, bro, spending time in nature, breathing in fresh air, like moving around, actually having some sort of activity, and also thinking about your thoughts and actually meditating on your actions and contemplating your future and thinking about all these important things, while also being in nature and just being filled with this amazing feeling, this amazing positive energy. I feel like that's just 10 times better than just spending your time in a room that you just know so well, that you've just spent hundreds of thousands of hours in for the past years. Why not just go out in nature? Why not explore something else? I've made this subconscious goal, right, that to start actually exploring my surroundings more and start exploring the places that I've been in. Like, for example, in my forest, I knew several paths, a while back, several years ago, I knew several paths, which led through the forest and everything. And as time passed by, I just came to the conclusion that there's just so much more to be seen out there. And there's 50 different paths that I didn't take, that are just like all these different paths, like not well thought out paths, not well thought and walked paths, which are very clear. They're much more hidden, right? They're not as popular and everything, so people don't usually walk on them. And I just decided that I'd start doing that, and I've been walking on these paths and I've been doing all those things, and that just brought back so many feelings of nostalgia from my earlier childhood. It's brought this feeling of being capable of exploring and actually witnessing all those interesting things in my surroundings, that I just didn't notice before. And I think we could all use some of that, and honestly, bro, when was the last time you went out in nature and you genuinely just picked a leaf from a tree and you just looked at it like that? You looked at all the designs on it and all, like, the different colors. When was the last time you took a branch, you genuinely took like a fucking stick, and you went out in nature and you were just fighting plants, you were like beating plants to the ground with the stick, and you were just running around being a caveman? And don't mind the chainsaw in the distance, there's like a guy just going at it on a Saturday morning, because why not, I guess. So, you know, genuinely, why don't we do those things anymore? Why wouldn't we just spend this time in nature anymore? I mean, it's been ages since we've done that. It's been ages since our childhoods when we've done that. I mean, honestly, man, it's been so long for a lot of us, and I just came to that conclusion a year ago while I was just starting self improvement. I was genuinely just on. I was trying to quit video games. I was trying to quit social media. Bro, that chainsaw won't fucking stop going. Oh my god. It's annoying as shit. Anyway, so as I stopped playing video games and stopped going on social media and stopped doing all those things, I came to the conclusion that things have to be changed, and that I came to the conclusion that genuinely my life was really different from what I remembered it to be, in my earlier childhood. Things changed so much over the past years, and I just couldn't understand why. But then I look back on all the problems which just took away all my innocence, like all the horrible habits, all the detrimental habits that I was doing that just took away my innocence, and just made me this bitter man. Like I was genuinely like what, 15 years old, and I was this bitter fucking person. I was just always pissed at everything and pissed at everybody and always mad about everything. Oh my god, bro. That chainsaw has been going on for like 2 minutes straight. Jesus Christ. But, it's been ages since I used to do those things which I used to do in my childhood just so frequently. Like, those times, that I spent just walking in nature and with a stick, with a stick in my hand and a dog by my side, just trekking through the forest, it just reminded me of all those times in my childhood, when I used to do the exact same and I had all these very interesting ideas and I was just always so creative about everything. When every time I went out, it just felt like I was heading out in this crazy world full of possibilities, And this went away after a while, as I grew older and as I started, you know, learning my surroundings better, and as I started doing all these habits in my life that genuinely just did not serve me well. All these habits which just made my life worse. As I kept doing those things, I just lost sight. I lost track of what I was meant to do. I lost track of my childhood innocence. I lost track of the things that I genuinely enjoyed doing. And so I was left alone, with my own thoughts, with these dark thoughts. And I just had to fight them, and as I eventually quit video games and social media and all those things, and I just spent more and more time in nature and more time without my phone and without any kind of technology and anything reminding me of my past self, as I, kind of fully indulged in this idea of becoming a new person, of becoming the 2.0 version of myself, I came to the conclusion that this is a much better existence. This is a beautiful existence, to just genuinely be able to enjoy nature and be able to enjoy the things that you see around you, to enjoy the beauty. I mean, now that the fucking chainsaw is not blaring in my face and probably in your ears as well, I can hear the birds singing. And it's beautiful. And, and I'm going through the forest and I'm seeing the sun just kind of daze through all those branches and leaves and everything. And I don't know, it's such a beautiful sight. And I think we all feel at some point after we genuinely spend a decent amount of time in nature, we all feel so connected to it because that's where we lived 10,000 years ago. Nature was our home 10,000 years ago. Now we live in houses, now we live in apartments in the middle of urbanized cities, like that are just stretching out for tens of kilometers, and it's just concrete and stone and nothing. No green, no nature, no nothing. Maybe a park then and there, and there's like a tree from time to time when you pass a street, but that's it. There's no more greenery. I mean, I'm very, very happy, and I'm very grateful to be here, and I'm very lucky as well to genuinely be living here. I'm surrounded by green everything, bro. Like behind me is a huge ass forest, right? Like I'm a very lucky person, right? But I think that we all need to go back to this. And because I've been living like this for the past while, even though I was genuinely for years of my life, I lived here. I've been living here for like 10 years, right? Only in the recent year or so have I actually started to realize just how beautiful it means. I mean, yeah, and also when I was genuinely much younger, when I was just playing outside and everything, I didn't have a phone. I didn't know what Minecraft or War Thunder was. Oh, they're video games. I didn't know what those were, so I just enjoyed my time outside. But yet, as I discovered those things, I discovered social media and porn and addictions and junk food and all those kinds of different things. As I just indulged in them, the beauty of the outside world just instantly went away. Like I didn't feel grateful. I didn't feel happy to be here anymore. Because those things, those influences that I had in my life, they just took away everything. They took away any sign of pleasure that I had in anything. It just made my life miserable. And so, genuinely, just as I quit, just as I told myself that I would never play video games again, just as I told myself I would never go on any of those horrible sites and masturbate again, as I told myself that I would never be wasting my time with bullshit movies and social media and all those things, you know? And I was left with all these hours, like more than half of my day was just cleared out of the blue, right? Because I used to fill my day with that. And I thought to myself, well, shit, how am I gonna spend my time? And then my mind instantly just looked outside. I was like, the answer is right there. It's nature and it's spending time in the place that we were all supposed to be in from the start. And so I think by spending time in nature, it helps you develop yourself in a much more rapid manner than anything else. Because it's time that you spend alone with your own thoughts. It's time that you spend contemplating your own actions and genuinely just thinking about your past and seeing what your future can be, and understanding what it can be. And again, you can do that in a room, but it will be much more dull and meaningless, and you'll feel much more horrible. But when you're in nature and you're doing that, it just feels amazing. When you're on a mountain that's like 3,000 meters high, and you're just trekking through it and everything, and you can see the sun genuinely just above everything, and you're above the clouds, and you're thinking about the shit, it just hits different. It genuinely hits different. When you're in nature, when you're in the forest, when there's trees everywhere, and there's just the sun coming through, and you're thinking about all those important things, all those important decisions in your life, it just hits different. In a positive way, definitely. Even when you're facing some sort of hardship, you're facing some sort of problem maybe, that you've been dealing with, just spending time in nature, it can really help. And there's got to be studies out there, and there's going to be genuinely thousands of articles on why spending time in nature is so beneficial for us. And the reason is there, because this is where we used to spend our time 10,000 years ago. Back there was our home. Not here, not in this house, but back there. So yeah, man. If you can help it, spend more time in nature. Just find any kind of possibility. Whenever you have the possibility, just spend time in nature. Go outside and be on your own. Be alone with your own thoughts. Turn off your phone. Turn off anything, and just live. Good luck, man. I'll see you next time.